Genesis 21 is a pivotal chapter in the Bible. It tells the story of the fulfillment of God's promise to Abraham and Sarah, the birth of their son, Isaac. This event had been long awaited and brought immense joy to the couple. It marked the beginning of the fulfillment of God's covenant with Abraham, through whom all nations would be blessed. The chapter begins with the long-awaited birth of Isaac. God had promised Abraham and Sarah a son, even though they were very old. Sarah had laughed at the idea at first, not believing it possible, but God is faithful to his promises, and in his perfect timing, Sarah conceived and gave birth to Isaac. The birth of Isaac was nothing short of a miracle. It was a testament to God's power and faithfulness. Abraham, now 100 years old, finally held in his arms the son he had waited a lifetime for. Isaac's name, meaning he laughs, was a reminder of both Sarah's initial disbelief and the great joy that followed. The arrival of Isaac brought great celebration. Abraham circumcised Isaac on the 8th day as God had commanded him. This act was a sign of the covenant relationship between God and Abraham's descendants. It was a visible reminder of God's promise to bless Abraham and make his offspring a great nation. The birth of Isaac brought a new dimension of joy into Abraham and Sarah's lives. Sarah declared, "God has brought me laughter, and everyone who hears about this will laugh with me." This laughter wasn't one of disbelief, but of pure, overflowing joy and amazement. Abraham and Sarah had waited decades for this moment. Years of doubt and uncertainty were replaced with the undeniable reality of God's faithfulness. The arrival of Isaac was a powerful reminder that God keeps his promises no matter how impossible they may seem. Isaac's birth wasn't just a personal blessing for Abraham and Sarah. It held immense significance for all humanity. God had promised Abraham that through his offspring, all nations would be blessed. Isaac was the beginning of the fulfillment of that promise, the ancestor of the nation of Israel, and ultimately, the Messiah. As Isaac grew, Abraham and Sarah delighted in him. They poured their love and faith into their son, nurturing him in the ways of the Lord. Isaac was a constant reminder of God's faithfulness and the hope for the future that he represented. The joy of Isaac's birth was soon overshadowed by conflict within Abraham's household. Hagar, Sarah's Egyptian maidservant, had borne Abraham a son, Ishmael, years earlier. Now, with Isaac as the heir to God's covenant, tensions arose between Sarah and Hagar and between their sons. Sarah became increasingly concerned about Ishmael's influence on Isaac. She observed Ishmael mistreating Isaac. Although the text doesn't specify the nature of this mistreatment, it greatly distressed Sarah and prompted her to demand that Abraham send Hagar and Ishmael away. This request deeply troubled Abraham. Ishmael was his son, and he cared for him dearly. However, God reassured Abraham, instructing him to listen to Sarah. God promised to care for Hagar and Ishmael, making Ishmael into a great nation. This situation highlights the complexities of human relationships and the challenges of living in a blended family. It also reveals the importance of seeking God's guidance in the midst of difficult situations. The departure of Hagar and Ishmael was a painful experience for everyone involved. Abraham provided Hagar with some provisions and sent them away. Hagar wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba, her supplies dwindling. Distraught and fearing for Ishmael's life, she wept bitterly. God heard Hagar's cries and came to her aid. He opened her eyes to see a well of water, providing for their immediate needs. God reassured Hagar that he had heard Ishmael's cries and promised to make him into a great nation. Hagar and Ishmael settled in the wilderness of Paran. Ishmael grew up, became skilled with the bow, and eventually married an Egyptian woman. God's faithfulness to Hagar and Ishmael serves as a powerful reminder that he cares for the outcast and the downtrodden. Meanwhile, God continued to guide and bless Abraham. Abraham made a treaty with Abimelek, king of Gerar, at Beersheba. This treaty signified peace and cooperation between their people. It was a testament to God's blessing on Abraham, establishing him as a leader and influencer in the land. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you in the next one.